Hi, and welcome back to my channel. And I've just decided to go live. It's such a lovely afternoon here where I am in Ireland, and I just thought it would be nice just to jump on board. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my giant size um, DC comics that I picked up this last while. And yeah, it's just an opportunity to look at the selection that I have with the DC work in progress. There's also the giant size special edition for Jorge Amaze and Matt Fraction for Batman. And then there is the 6-issue Batman Hush 2 that I've also collected. So I'll start off here with All-Star Superman, which is the first DC work in progress, which was released some time ago. And this is issue 1. And of course, this is like such a loved run of Superman by Frank Quitely, and it's just an issue that a collection of Superman that is had been so well received and up to now is still beloved by readers. Of course, written by Grant Morrison, and as I said, Frank Quitely, both Scottish artists and Scottish writers, so that's quite interesting. And yeah, these giant size work in progress are huge, absolutely massive, and DC are just given different artists and writers, different comics, the work in progress treatment, and it's absolutely fantastic. What we have is just the opportunity to be able to get close up and just have a look at the work of the artist, and just to see Frank Quitely's work here done is just absolutely beautiful. So I'll come back to this. So this is issue 1, and this is absolute All-Star Superman, again by Frank Quitely and Grant Morrison. And then this is Absolute Batman by Nick Ricotta and Scott Snyder, and this needs no introduction. And at this stage, I think this work in progress has taken center stage in my collection, or it's at least one of the comic I have in my collection which I absolutely would never let go of. And this was just, it's a great accompaniment to the Absolute Batman, because you're just getting this supersized edition, and it's just giving you the opportunity to have a look at Nick Ricotta's fantastic artwork. And I mean, this comic does not need any introduction, because it's like so popular, and rightly so. There's the back of it there. And what's great about this is it gives you the opportunity to see the layouts that Ricotta did for Absolute Batman. There's the, just an example there. The DC just doesn't seem to be afraid to give us giant size publications at the moment. There's the original inks there for the cover for issue 1, and I think there's also issue, what is that there, and I think that's for the variant for issue 1, is it, or is it the reprint, second printing cover, of course, and this cover's quite famous too. There's the layouts there, so there's the layouts that you get that Nick Ricotta had drawn up for Scott Snyder. And because this is such a giant size edition, you get the chance to be able to kind of really look at the layouts and to see how they transpired them with the original. Let's see if I can get a really nice, look at this. Isn't that just superb? Look at that. So if you're a fan of Absolute Batman and you don't have this, then I suggest you try to get your hands on it. And that there's the panel there that's used in the back, you see. Absolutely fantastic. So that's Absolute Batman. Then Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo and Jonathan Clavion, and that's the Dark Knight Metal. And this is a really giant size, and I don't know how many pages are in this, but it's absolutely just packed. And you get the artwork, you get the inks, and the author or the artist will give you an introduction to of just what was going on at that time. And so this is given by Dave Weislog in January 2026, Jonathan Clapion in January 2026, and they just give an introduction here in the sleeve. And what's great about this is a comic I never picked up. I knew nothing about Dark Knight's Metal until I picked this up. But you see there's the inks on this page and then the art in the next page. So you get, it's a double whammy. You're getting the opportunity to see the inks as they were originally, and then when the artist is added to them, if you know what I mean. And this is a beautiful artwork, and yeah, it's lovely to have this in the collection. So yeah, there's that. What else do I have? Oh yeah, this is American Vampire, and again Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque, and of course Stephen King. And I really enjoyed this. Again, this is another run that I had never picked up or had never read, but because I picked this up, I'm definitely going to look out for it. I think it's in the DC Compacts. You can get the collection on that. But this was another great story, by the way, by Scott Snyder, and the artwork is absolutely spot on by Raphael. So this is just giving us some really fantastic up close and personal giant size work in progresses that we get the opportunity to be able to kind of see the original layouts by the artist and the original kind of panel that they sketched or drawn on. So it's absolutely, it's a pleasure to have it. So yeah, so this is like a vampires as well, American Vampire, obviously with Stephen King. You can just imagine just the story in this and just how brilliant it is. Now, does Stephen King give us an introduction? Raphael Albuquerque gives us an introduction, and yeah, so quite interesting. I'd highly recommend that you maybe pick this up too. Another beautiful work in progress. And then the last or the latest work in progress is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And this is a title that I know very little about. I don't know anything about this Woman of Tomorrow except that the film is based on it. So it's by Tom King and Belisk Elvery. I think that's how you pronounce it. So for myself, like a newcomer to this, it's just an opportunity to be able to sit down and just have a look at the artwork of the different artists. So this story, I think, was used for the film, which I don't think has been that well received. But hey, you know what? Sometimes to transfer from the comic to the big screen is not as easily done as maybe you think. But this is a storyline that I need to sit down and really kind of discover a little bit more about, because it's a storyline that I know very little about. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, well, apparently it is very popular. So if you've seen the film, or what did you think about it, or are you somebody that has this run, would you highly recommend to continue reading it? But for a collector like myself who collects like these work in progresses, it's just an opportunity to see artists and just the work that they do and the ability that they have. It's just fantastic. I would give anything to get a John Byrne, a George Perez, or one of those kind of old school artists if they did a work in progress for that. But alas, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So I don't know if you remember when Matt Fraction and Harkey Amaze Batman launched, but DC gave us a special edition giant size, which I picked up. So again, look, there it is. And this is just fantastic. All colour, it's the same as the regular comic, it's all colour, and yeah, this is just, if you've been enjoying this run of Batman, and I think I've been thoroughly enjoying it, I think Matt Fraction and Harkey Amaze, beautiful artwork, and it's fun, it's written, I think I'm just enjoying it. As somebody who's been reading Batman for like, what, 50 years plus, you know what, I think it's alright. I think they're doing a great job. And I think it's just DC again, just throwing out these giant size editions at us and letting us kind of have the opportunity to see fantastic artwork by these fantastic artists up close and personal. Maybe we'll get a Dan Mora up close and personal, or a Bruno Redondo, or one of those artists. Maybe we'll get the opportunity to be able to see their work up close and personal. And there was just, everyone comes with a prelude. There's a prelude there for Knockout. There's just like Robin had his moment there. There was about Robin at the end of the last page there. And I think that there's a coming soon. There's Harkey Amaze. I think this is a reprint for issue 1 for issue 2 or something. It's that cover. But yeah, again, look, beautiful, beautiful, giant size. It's just absolutely fantastic. And if you are a fan of any of these artists, then I would highly recommend. And then I suppose there's the train passing, just in case you're wondering what that racket is, but that's the train doing its business. I am going to now have a look at, hey, can you believe it? Jim Lee's Batman Hush show, or Hush 2. So I collected all the giant size editions for Hush 2, of which there are 6. And yeah, I know the story has not been that well received by the fans, but I can tell you that as somebody who has always loved Jim Lee's artwork, this has been a pleasure. And just alone for the artwork, it's absolutely stunning. Anyway, remember when Jim Lee did All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder with Frank Miller? So, and if you don't know, you should look that up. I think this might be, as badly received as this might be, I think it was received a little bit better than the All-Star Batman, or so, you know. But I just think the artwork is absolutely beautiful and it's worth the price of admission. You're just getting the chance to see Jim Lee up close and personal. This particular run was hit by delays due to Jim Lee not being well, but it has completed chapter 1. So Hush 2 chapter 1 has been completed and published, so these are the issues that I have for it. The storyline itself, look, the Bat Family versus Batman, I think we've heard it before, but the artwork is absolutely superb. Look at the beautiful artwork there. And I just can't highly recommend it enough. I think at least DC are giving us, look at the beautiful, this artwork here is stunning. I think Jim Lee is giving everything that he has to this run, and yeah, just out of respect to him and just for the great work that Jim Lee has done. I remember picking up X-Men when Jim Lee was starting out, so I mean he's been in the business now for some time, and you got to give these legacy artists their due, you know, and their respect. And I'm just thinking too about artists like, you know, John Byrne's got his X-Men Elsewhere out at the moment, and it's sold out. It's out of print at the moment, and I think there's a second printing coming. And you know, these legacy artists are absolutely, like, they just deserve the respect, you know. So here we have, yeah, I think that's a cool cover there. Just again. So if you're a fan of Jim Lee, and if you're somebody who appreciates Jim Lee's artwork, then by all means, this is definitely the collection to have. These giant size special editions, absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at that artwork there. It's just, who's the colorist? Alex Sinclair. Absolutely beautiful. You know, Jeff Loeb, could he have done a better job? I don't know. I mean, you've got Nightwing, you've got Jim Lee drawing Nightwing, sorry, and Batgirl and all the Bat fam. So that's a lot of fun, you know. And Dick Grayson, Nightwing, is like a legacy character, so it's always fun to see Batman coming into Batman and Dick Grayson kind of meeting up, you know. So yeah, the storyline, look, it is what it is. Beautiful. Yeah. And then that was issue 3. This is issue 4. Again, giant size. We're just getting all this. There's an advertisement there for last year for Superman. I hope Supergirl. I haven't seen the film. Just doesn't. It just doesn't really grab my attention at the moment. Odyssey is on. It released this weekend. I might maybe go and see that, but Supergirl just. I don't know. I saw the Superman film. I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it, but I didn't see the Supergirl one. But anyway. There we are again. Joker. Beautiful artwork here. Michelle Gordon. Yeah. So as I said, I think Jim Lee has put a lot of work into this. I think he's given a lot of hard graft. I mean, look at that double, look at that spread, look at that double, look at that just 2-page spread. Like Jim Lee knows what he's doing. He really does. And there they all are. There's the Bat fam showing up. There's the Huntress, Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing. I think that's the Riddler. Yeah, I know what's going on there. So this is a foil variant that I picked up. I think it was the only one that was left when I was going to collect this particular issue. So I got a foil variant, which is, yeah, pretty nice, isn't it? And I think this was at the time when there was a lot of delays, but eventually it materialized. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. So I think that there's going to be a chapter. They're going to have a chapter 2 for Hush 2. So they finished the first chapter. So will we ever see it? We might, but. Definitely with the detail and work that Jim Lee has put into this chapter 1, I definitely would be picking it up. I think it would be worth it just for the artwork alone. There's Selena. It's interesting that a character like Batman, that you can have 3, like you can have Absolute Batman, you can have Jorge Mays and Matt Fraction's Batman, and you can have Jim Lee's Batman all running concurrently. And then probably one of the greatest Batman runs is by, was it Dan Waters and Hayden Sherman for Batman Dark Patrons, and I love that. I really hope that we get Dark Patrons second series, because it was absolutely beautiful. And what do you call him, Chris Samji, he did what, Batman and Robin, you know, in their first adventures, and that was another fun run. It just goes to show, there's lots of mileage in Batman, and DC knows it, and they're not afraid to give it. So yeah, The thing I found interesting about this particular is that these DC character villains like the Joker and the Riddler, they all look as if they've been kind of going to the gym and really working out. Like they're not. There's an advertisement there, look, for the Batman I just spoke about, Batman and Robin, and that's by Batman and Robin Year One by Mark Waid and Chris Samney, and that's another fun run, absolutely fantastic. But the Hayden Sherman Dark Patterns is, oh, it's beautiful. It's a fantastic run. So yeah, and this of course is where Jason Todd kind of splits off, doesn't he? And he went off and he got his own title, his own issue. They'd only lasted for one issue, and then it was pulled by DC. So you know what? Yeah. Look at this. Look at the Batmobile. Wow, fantastic. So this is issue 5. And then we just have one more issue, and this is issue 6. So this is the conclusion part of chapter 1 of Hush 2. And again, the story, look, you know, the Lazarus Pit is yeah, look, I don't know. But the artwork is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So yeah, just DC just giving us beautiful giant size editions. They're just a pleasure to pick up, and yeah, the artwork is just superb. If you want to see Batman in the Lazarus Pit, there he is. So yeah. So again, like DC just seems to be on top of their game at the moment. They're giving us some fantastic titles. I think they're doing so well. And there's the last page for Hush 2. I think that's Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Julia, is it? So you have to tune in to Hush 2 chapter 2 next to find out what happens. So there you have it, folks. Just a sneak peek at my giant size editions that I have, and I'm just going to leave you with my absolutely beautiful, absolute Batman takes center stage in my collection. I'm so glad I have this. This is the most beautiful comic I think that I have in my collection. Nick Dracata, he is just firing in all cylinders, and just to be able to have this kind of giant size work in progress, it's a pleasure. If you can get your hands on it, I don't know if your local LCS might have a copy, just bring yourself down, you won't be disappointed. Just beautiful, beautiful artwork. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this little look at my giant size editions by DC, and yeah, I hope you all have a great day wherever you are in the world. And again, thanks for watching. Any like and any subscription to my channel is always appreciated. So I hope you all have a great day. Take care and look after yourselves.